Welcome back to the Creator Era podcast. This week we're going to dive a little bit deeper. Last week we spoke about moving from the darkness into the light, and today I want us to really understand what that even means in terms of our journey and healing, as we are the ones suffering. When the body is in pain and when the mind is restless and when life feels unbearable, when everything seems to fall apart, what does this all mean? What if we reframe it? What if illness is not exile? And what if grief is not punishment? And what if anxiety is not torment? What if all of this is an initiation, a calling to rise? Because right at the very moment you feel the most pressed, the most exhausted, the most undone, the point where you are breaking, you are being called. You're being asked to rise, to change what can no longer be ignored, and to illuminate the essence of your soul. When we reframe anything, extraordinary things can happen because we stop giving our power away and we see through a different lens. We stop seeing ourselves as victims and we begin to stand up to the moment and rise and stand in our power. We discover that this was never punishment, that this was our soul's summon. And that summon is saying your genius is needed now, your essence is needed now, right now in this very timeline you are being called to step up. Pain is communication. Pain is not the beginning. Pain is sometimes the end of a long and ignored channel of communication. It is the body's final cry after years of whispers being ignored. First came the fatigue, the subtle tiredness that you brushed aside. Then came the stress and the tension and the dissonance. Before that, the boundaries were crossed, the emotions were buried, and the truth was avoided. When those early signals go unheeded, the body turns up its volume. Pain is the volume on full blast. But pain is not betrayal, and it's not a curse, and it's not your end all. Pain is your soul's alarm clock saying, it's time. You can no longer live in this separation. You're being called to a deeper alignment. There can be a little bit of magic when you understand this. Suffering, however, begins when we resist, when we refuse the call, and when we numb it, deny it, push it forward, and try to live in the old way that has tormented us and kept us in the cycles of suffering. And the resistance will block our initiation. And sometimes we don't even know there's a deeper call behind it. We were never told this. We were never taught that pain has purpose, that illness can be initiation, and that grief is a threshold. And until we understand, we can't reframe. And when we can't reframe, we can't change our perspective. This keeps us in a gridlock, literally in a matrix. And this is why understanding is sacred, because when we can understand, we can awaken. And when we awaken, oh, do we rise? The body has innate intelligence, and your body is not your enemy, ever. It is you. It is your extension of your essence. Your body is your most loyal ally. Every cell in you is encoded with intelligence, not just genetic coding, but living wisdom, the same wisdom that orchestrates this entire universe, birth and death, growth and decay, the same rhythm that guides forests to regenerate, rivers to carve valleys, stars to burn and release their light. This is the echo of who we are. We are in these same patterns. Illness does not erase it. Pain does not strip it away. Even in the most fragile, darkest moments, the body will always hold this blueprint. It is yours to remember and to claim. The real question has never been, can the body heal? The real question that we should be asking is, are we creating the conditions that allow the body to remember its original design and to live from that design? And conditions are not only physical. Yes, nourishment, rest, and movement matter. But so does love, safety, and truth. The nervous system must feel safe before the body can shift from defense into repair. The heart must be allowed to grieve before the cells can unclench. The mind must soften into presence before chemistry can reorganize itself internally. Your body is a mirror of nature. It thrives when there is circulation, coherency, and rest. It withers when there is stagnation, chaos, and constant alarm. We are in defense. Illness then is not betrayal. It is direct feedback. It is the ecosystem saying something is off. Wake up and come back home. Return to your innate rhythm and your genius. We often fall as sick and challenged in our life to outsourcing. And here's the paradox of our time. We have been trained to outsource absolutely everything, to seek expert labels, diagnoses, and fixes. And while guidance and medicine can matter to some extent, when we give all of our power away, we remain stuck in the matrix of fear and dependency. It is a constant loop because we don't trust ourselves. The truth is the deepest guidance is never outside, it is inside. And you are your own living scripture. Your body is a sacred text. Your energy is your guide, and your soul is the doctrine. Every answer you seek has already been written within you. Can you rise to hear it? Outsourcing forever keeps you in a constant exile. Returning within will bring you home. We have to awaken to this truth. This is where our power lives. The light within us is the center point of it all, if we can choose that through our will. Everyone speaks of it. The light of Christ, the light of Jesus, the light of Kabbalah, the radiant emanation of the divine. The light found in Sufi poetry, the light in the Buddhist teachings, always across time and traditions, the mystics have pointed us towards the same truth, the same inner reality. All the stories align. But what does it actually all even mean? What does the light even mean? It means this. There is light produced in our body. Our cells emit biophotons, tiny pulses of light that form our cellular communication. Your heart and your brain radiate electromagnetic fields that shift when you move in from fear into love. Your chemistry will reorganize itself when we are in coherency. We will illuminate differently when we are aligned. And this same light is also spiritual. It is the illumination of the soul, the inner radiance of essence, the genius that lives inside. It is what reveals your destiny. And the light is not a metaphor at all. It is the meeting point between biology and spirituality. It is what happens when your nervous system softens and your soul awakens. When that switch flips, perception changes. You begin to see life entirely differently. And once you see, you can never unsee what you have come to understand. And this is why the light matters, because the light is your genius made visible and tangible. The light is what allows you to perceive your calling, to come into healing, and to be fortified in your essence. And here's a parable to connect to understand a little bit deeper. In the sea, an oyster will live quietly. And at one point, a grain of sand will slip inside its shell. Against its soft flesh, it's sharp, irritating, and relentless. The oyster cannot push it out. It cannot escape from this tiny little grain that will irritate it. So it does something extraordinary. It releases mother of pearl, the shimmering, luminous biofield. Patiently, layer after layer, it coats it, not once, but again and again, for months and sometimes even years. And what begins to happen is the wound becomes a treasure, the irritation becomes the beauty, and the grit becomes the pearl, rare, luminous, and extraordinary. And this is exactly what we are doing. Nature will always show us who we are. Illness, grief, and challenge, they are grains of sand. And you, with devotion and awareness, with presence and love, coat them again and again until they become pearls of wisdom, strength, and beauty. Your wound will become your wisdom. Your pain will become your pearl. And there's something very interesting hidden within the wound. There is a mystery. The very thing that you're asked to transcend will often contain your life's calling. Your mission and your purpose are not separate from your suffering. It is often revealed through it. The addiction you heal becomes the place you guide others into freedom. The grief you survive may become the compassion you offer to the grieving. The illness you walk away from and through becomes the medicine you will carry for the world that is in pain and suffering. Every single disconnect, once transcended, becomes a compass pointing you towards your genius. Because your life is not random. Everything is aligned for a greater purpose. It is written into a larger story, the great story of life unfolding called creation through evolution. And your particular pain and your unique wound is the portal through which your mission will arrive, if you wake up to it. This is why you're being called not just to heal for yourself, but to rise so that your very becoming, your very transcendence becomes the medicine for humanity, not only yourself. And when we can perceive in a different lens, we can understand, which gives us the safety to transcend. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Jung had mentioned this. And most of us live as characters in a script that we did not write. We run programs we inherit, loops of thought and fear that play out without our consent even, because we're not conscious of it. We believe we are the role, not realizing there's something greater behind the role, the source. But when the light switches on, it will shift. You stop being only the character and you become the operator. And from the seat of the operator, you will see it differently. You will recognize the background programs, the fears, the loyalties, and the unconscious scripts that you subscribe to. You notice the patterns. You will see how they once carried you. And this is where you begin to choose. And being the operator means you no longer will live blindly. You become the witness. You become interrupt reactivity. You choose deliberate creation. You will see corrupted files that begin, and you will begin to clear them out. You will input intention, and you will shape new pathways that reprogram a new reality. Life itself becomes a ritual. Every breath, every word, every choice becomes an offering. And when coherency enters, life flows through you differently. It responds, it reveals, and it will redeem you. And this is the restoration of the forgotten story. You are not here to collapse under this illness or fear. You are here to rise into your genius, to live as the creator that you have always been. So if you're listening right now and you are in pain or in grief, anxiety, or the heaviness of life, this is not your exile. This is your initiation. I have been here too. I understand it completely. Your body, your soul, and your life is saying, rise. We need you to rise. No more disconnection, no more abandonment, no more self-hate. It is time to remember who you are and to fall back in love with you so you can fall back in love with life. And every challenge is not the end. It is the threshold of the beginning. This is the doorway into your mission. And suffering is what happens when we resist the call and we don't know how to exit. But the moment you understand, the moment you reframe, everything will shift. Because understanding is liberation. Understanding is what opens the door to the wisdom bank within you. And understanding is where the divine genius lives. And when you rise to this understanding, you will see it clearly that you are not on the outside of the miracle. You are the living miracle, the pearl formed from the grit, the operator awakened, the light switched on in the dark. You are the miracle returning to wholeness in every single moment of your life. I thank you so much for joining me. I am so truly blessed to share and unite in these deeper conversations to inspire all of us into our creator era, because our humanity needs each human to rise into their illumination.